Today's video is brought to you by Audible. Get your free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/magstv or click the link in the video description down below. G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to War Thunder with Mags, and welcome to Korea, and welcome aboard the Hurricane Mark II-B Tropical, because Korea is the perfect place to fly this plane out. So before we get too far into this video, I just want to apologise for my voice. I'm sure you've noticed in a couple of my previous videos, and you're going to be noticing it for quite a few more. My voice is a bit messed up at the moment. It's going to take a couple of weeks for me to get myself back in order here. My voice is actually taking some damage, but doing what I can. So anyway, the Hurricane II-B Tropical, rank 2, battle rating 2.0 for War Thunder. We're talking a maximum speed of 494 kilometers an hour according to the stat card, which is rubbish even at its optimal altitude of 18,000 feet. It's not going to get that without a dive. Maximum altitude 37,000 feet. If you want to spend the fortnight that it will take to actually get there, it is possible. Turn time 23.7 seconds according to the stat card, which is again a useless number. The plane turns significantly faster than that. Nobody ever turns within the criteria of the turn time. Climb rate 2,609 feet per minute. This one here is actually probably fairly accurate, but it will feel slower because everything around you is climbing a hell of a lot faster and you'll just be trying to keep up. So straight out of the box it must sound like I hate the Hurricane II-B, but this is entirely inaccurate. I completely love flying this plane out. It's not as effective as it could be, but it is a hell of a lot of fun. Why? Well, it comes down to the armament. The Hurricane II-B is armed with 12 7.7mm Browning machine guns. These guns come in 2 clusters of 4 in each of the wings, along with 2 additional guns further out than the cluster on each of these wings. Now, this sounds like a massive amount of firepower, and in truth it is, although it's spread over an extremely large area, but it does come with some significant drawbacks. The aircraft has 4,200 rounds of ammunition, which sounds like a lot until you consider that it's being fired over 12 guns. That's only 350 rounds of ammunition per gun. More than that, the guns themselves have a 750 round per minute firing rate, meaning that you can clear all of the ammunition out of the aircraft in around 25 seconds total firing time. That's all you have. And then to finish it off, there is the accuracy. Now, the velocity on the 7.7mm rounds is not fantastic, and the energy retention of the rounds themselves are not fantastic either. So 7.7mm rounds have a tendency to travel really well in short range and then drop off very quickly. But then you take into account the guns themselves, which are spaced over 2/3 of the length of the wing of the aircraft, and what you've got here is less of a scalpel and more of a fire hose. You point them roughly at the enemy aircraft, you pull the trigger, and you just hose them down with whatever you have. The last thing that needs to be mentioned about the way the aircraft flies in War Thunder is its high-speed handling. At speeds sub 400 kilometers an hour, the handling of the Hurricane is exceptional. It is very precise, especially below 350 kilometers an hour. It turns on a dime, it goes exactly where you want it to go. However, once you start exceeding 400 kilometers an hour, or get up to speeds of 500 kilometers an hour as I am now, you'll notice that things look a little bit more odd. The aircraft rocks around a lot and won't actually roll directly down its center axis. It becomes unstable. This means while the aircraft is most certainly capable of doing boom and zoom style attacks if you can get enough speed and into position on the enemy, it's not ideal for it, as it will fight you trying to get guns on target. This is a plane that really wants you to drag the enemy slow and then beat them to death in a turn fight. And you can see the wide burst on these traces here. Yak goes into the vertical, big mistake. At this point I can just hose it down until there is nothing left. So anyways, to the main thing I wanted to discuss in today's video. I see this question pop up fairly often amongst new players to War Thunder and people that are just getting into aviation. Why did they put 12 machine guns in a Hurricane? Why didn't they just upgun it to something more significant like they did with the Spitfire with 20mm Hispano cannons? Well, they originally wanted to. To understand the answer to this question, you need to understand how the wing of an aircraft is built. The wing is mounted on what is known as the wing spar. The wing spar is essentially the backbone for the wing, the structure of the wing is hung from. And this was a pretty easy kill here. This guy just got blindsided, unfortunate for him, but excellent for me. Anyways, as I was saying, the entire wing is hung off the spar, and the spar also has to support the weight of the entire aircraft. When the aircraft is flying, this is what all the weight of the aircraft is resting on. And as you can imagine, the spar as a result is one of the single most important structural components in an aircraft. If you've ever seen those videos of the World War II gun cams when an American aircraft is shooting up the wing of Japanese aircraft, this one in particular is coming to mind, and you see a shot sort of go into the wing, and the aircraft banks slightly, and immediately the wing just folds in half and folds over the aircraft, but no additional shots went into it. What had actually happened there is one of the rounds had gone through the wing and cracked the wing spar, and as the aircraft repositioned itself, the transferring of weight through the superstructure immediately folded the spar in half, breaking the wing. The spars are incredibly important, and they are incredibly well engineered. They are designed to be able to take the force of combat through the wings and have a little bit of excess strength available as well. Now, the Hurricane has two wing spars, one in the leading edge of the wing and one in the trailing edge. These wing spars were made of steel, but they were very precisely made. They needed to be robust enough to be able to handle what the Hurricane was capable of doing in combat without causing any structural issues, but at exactly the same time they needed to be light enough to not weigh the aircraft down. Now, to mount the machine guns in the wings of the Hurricane, they needed to drill holes through the leading edge spar. The barrels of the machine guns would then be slotted through these holes in order to reach the outside of the wing, with the actual machine gun assembly sitting between the two spars as well as the ammunition feeds. This was all fine, as the original spar was designed for 8 machine guns to come through, 4 on each wing, no problems whatsoever. The wing was engineered to be this way. But of course then the Battle of Britain happened, and the RAF immediately called to Hawker and said, we want more firepower in our Hurricanes. So, you've got a couple of options. First, you can add bigger guns, or second, you can add more guns. Now, the ideal situation is to add bigger guns. Much like the Spitfires, 20mm cannons were toyed with almost immediately, but it became very apparent to the engineers that in order to fit them, the holes in the wings that were originally designed to have these 7.7mm machine gun barrels go through would need to be drilled out, and this would compromise the strength of the wing spar. Furthermore, with the strength of the wing spar now compromised, you're going to start adding the recoil of these 20mm cannons firing. The combination of the two was deemed highly likely to cause a critical catastrophic failure in the structure of the aircraft in a combat situation. Fitting the 20mm cannons would be possible, but the wing spars would need to be re-engineered, and this was going to take time. And while eventually 20mm cannon armed Hurricanes did present themselves, the RAF didn't want to wait. They wanted their upgunned Hurricanes now, so they went to the second option, adding more guns. Now, adding additional 7.7mm machine guns to the Hurricane was going to require additional holes in order to slot the barrels through. However, the holes were significantly smaller than what would be required to fit the 20mm cannon in. After much testing with multiple options for how many guns they would add, they settled on 2 additional weapons per wing with a standard complement of ammunition, bringing the total guns up to 12. And that is how you wind up with a Hurricane with 12 guns. Not because the original plan specified them, not because that's really what the engineers wanted to build, but because within the time constraints they simply didn't have a choice to be able to fit anything else. Anyways, let's check out the results for this particular match. So, versus the Russians over Korea, we come in second place with 3 kills, 2,446 points in total. Awards for the match were Shadow Strike Streak X3, Terror of the Sky, and Bulletproof. Without premium account, I came in with 12,170 Silver Lions and 1,670 research points for this particular flyer. With premium, that would have been 19,040 Silver Lions and 3,340 research points. Total match time from takeoff to end of match was 14 minutes and 12 seconds. So anyways, ladies and gents, I just wanted to really, more than anything else, take a bit of time to answer a question that I have seen pop up more than once amongst new players just getting into aircraft about why the hell would you put so many 7.7s in the wings of a Hurricane? Why not put something bigger in? Why not a 50 cal? Why not a cannon like what the Spitfires have? There's actually a little bit more to this as well. Things like this get really interesting when you start talking about the Spitfires, because Supermarine, when they were developing the Spitfire, saw the problems that Hawker was having with fitting upgraded weapons into its Hurricane models, and as a result actually designed a system for the wings that would allow for modification of its weapon systems more easily. But that is for another video, I think. Anyways, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for watching. Remember to check out my sponsor for the channel, Audible. They are fantastic peoples. They do some fantastic work. If you're interested in audio books, it is the best place to go on the internet for them, and entirely worth your time for checking out. Otherwise, if you would like to help support the channel directly, links to my Patreon are also in the video description down below. Until next time, click that like button, subscribe if you want to see more, and as always, fly smart, fly safe, and I will catch you in the skies.